Good evening. We call to order the February 9th, 2026 meeting of the Cherokee County School Board of Trustees. We ask at this time if you would please stand. We will have our invocation by Trustee Johnny Surratt Jr., followed by our Pledge of Allegiance.
Before we pray, let's remember the ninth graders family at Gaffney High School. Let's have a moment of silence for him and his family. Let us pray. Eternal God, our Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for blessing us with another day. God, we thank you for keeping our staff and our children safe from hurt, harm, and danger. God, we pray that us as a board continue making great decisions along with Dr. Fitzpatrick to be impactful with our students, with our staff, and within our community. Father God, we thank you for your son Jesus, who died for our sins and rose with all power in his hand. God, continue guiding us and directing us in the right direction, and we'll always give your name honor, glory, and praise. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. We call for a motion to approve the board agenda.
I make a motion to approve the board agenda.
Motion, Mr. Surratt.
Second.
Second, Ms. Gallman. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Next item is an approval of board minutes dated January the 12th, 2026.
I make a motion we approve the board minutes dated January the 12th, 2026.
Motion, Ms. Gallman.
Second.
Second, Ms. Shackelford. All those in favor? That is unanimous as well. Now we're down to honors, accomplishments, commendations. That would be Dr. Fox, Dr. Fitzpatrick, and Ms. Gallman is going to assist on today. You don't look like Dr. Fox.
I definitely don't look like Dr. Fox. Dr. Fox is actually on a recruiting trail today, this evening that was rescheduled, so she's out recruiting teachers for our school district. So I'm going to do the Crystal Apples for January, and then Miss Westmoreland is going to come up with all the other honorees and have that done. Okay, so we will begin. Our first honoree tonight is our substitute of the month. Cherokee County School District's honoree for January's Crystal Apple Award for Substitutes is Dr. Gina Poovey of Gaffney High School. Dr. Poovey has served as the choral and piano teacher throughout the fall semester, and she has done impeccable work with her students. Dr. Poovey has shown exceptional dedication as a substitute at Gaffney High School. She actively engages with students, organizes recitals, participates in school spirit days, and genuinely cares for her colleagues. Her commitment goes beyond lesson plans, demonstrating her true passion for enhancing every student's educational experience. Congratulations, Dr. Poovey.
Congratulations. Now, Dr. Poovey, do you have anyone here with you today?
I have my husband, Noah Lindeman, who is a retiree of the school district as
Will you
well.
stand and be recognized?
Oh, this is Congratulations, Dr. Poovey.
Congratulations.
The recipient of January's Crystal Apple Award for classified staff members is Mr. Roger Logan of B.D. Lee Elementary School. Roger, Coach Logan, embodies the heart of education, patience, kindness, and dedication. He supports staff, comforts parents, and connects deeply with students, guiding them with care and a joy for learning and success. Mr. Logan has done an outstanding job this year in his work with diverse learners and helping them grow in their academic achievements. He has built a tremendous rapport with at-risk students, has implemented evidence-based practices, and has learned ways to apply reinforcements which enable students' growth to their fullest potential. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations and congratulations.
Mr. Logan.
Mr. Logan, you have anyone here with you?
Yes, I have my two assistant principals. I have Miss Staley and I have Miss McCooney, and also I have my lovely girlfriend, Sir.
Okay, everybody stand and be recognized.
Congratulations, Coach Logan.
Congratulations.
All right, now for our administrator.
That's wonderful.
The recipient of January's Crystal Apple Award for Administrators is Miss Tina Blackwell of Blacksburg Primary School. Ms. Blackwell goes above and beyond for Blacksburg Primary staff and students. She leads with compassion, consistency, and heart. Ms. Blackwell shows up daily with a servant's heart and a commitment for excellence. Her dedication and reliability make her an invaluable member for our team and truly deserving of recognition. Ms. Blackwell's devotion to her work inspires everyone to be better, and her positive influence is felt in every classroom and hallway. Congratulations. Ms. Blackwell.
Congratulations. Here we go. Now, Ms. Blackwell, do you have anyone here with you? Do you recognise?
From my beautiful staff and my head coach, so they came on with you.
Okay, will you guys stand, please?
CCSD's honoree for January's certified Crystal Apple winner is Miss Emma Price of Drakeville Elementary School. This is Miss Price's second year teaching second grade, and she consistently exceeds expectations in serving her students. Ms. Price always goes the extra mile, and she is determined to ensure students are engaged and having fun while they learn. Not only is Ms. Price an outstanding educator, but she is also a remarkable colleague to work with. She and her fellow teachers enjoy planning with and learning from one another every day. She is a role model for everyone at Drakeville Elementary and throughout the district. Congratulations, Ms. Price.
And do you have anyone here with you today?
My principal, Miss Sullivan, and my parents.
Okay, if you guys are standing, you recognize?
If you notice, Dr. Smith just writes this real big, he didn't have to wear this.
Yeah, that's right. Come on. This is good, 1820. That's good stuff.
On January 16th, Governor Henry McMaster invited 250 fourth grade students to join him at the South Carolina State House and launch a year of historical events commemorating the 250th anniversary of American independence. Fourth grade teacher Ann Whiteside of Grassy Pond Elementary School applied and was selected to bring 18 Grassy Pond Gators to experience this unique historic field trip. Every fourth grade Gator was asked to write an essay application explaining why they would like to be selected with an accompanying teacher recommendation. In their application, students also completed a writing task about the Battle of Cowpens. Each applicant was given a passage and asked to continue the battle from their perspective. The writing response required them to include imagery, foreshadowing, noticings, and resolutions. Students were encouraged to blend historical facts with some creative details. The 18 selected students are Tylasia Ellis, come on, Carson Moore, Richard Phillips, Carter Thompson, Lattimore. Jacob May. Patty Powell. Alexander Lunar. Emily Mace. Jamal Martin. Ariana Reyes Zipau. London Rogers. Noza Akramov. Oakland Blanton. Ashley Rivera Ortega. And Allie Wood.
I handed you guys certificates, I didn't get to shake your hand. I'll go down and shake everyone's hand. This is a great honor for you guys. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job.
How about Miss Whiteside? Why don't you come to Miss Whiteside?
How about that first word I teach you? Come on.
Come on, everybody come on.
Alligators, come on.
Can y'all get behind? Sorry. We can squeeze it, get it laid
Will all the parents stand to be recognized, parents? Great job.
That was a big one. Got one more.
On Saturday, January 10th, students from across the upstate auditioned for the Region 6 honor bands. Mariah Wiggleton from Gaffney Middle School earned first chair in the Region 6 band and qualified for All-State. Her outstanding region audition score ranked her as the 6th best middle school clarinetist in South Carolina. Naraya will travel to Furman University this weekend or the weekend of March 13th to participate in the All-State Junior Band Clinic with a concert performance scheduled for Sunday, March 15th. Ms. Wiggleton?
Wonderful, wonderful. That is an honor.
Parents, would you stand and be recognized also?
Very nice. And my favorite instrument, clarinet. At this time, are there any remarks or comments from any other board members? If anyone else? If not, if you would like to be dismissed at this time, you may do so, but you're more than welcome to stay if you would like to stay. But thank you so very much, and congratulations again on your accomplishments.
Great, I got this.
Yes. Great, the students are recognized.
Moving on to item number 6 on our agenda, School Board Policy BEDH, Public Participation. We had none for tonight, so we're down to item number 7. It's an action item. Request to change date of the March board meeting.
Yes, Mr. Chair, on March 9th, I am actually in a superintendent's group that is looking at cradle to career success with superintendents from around the nation. On March 9th through 11th, we have been invited to the Harlem Children's Zone, which is paid for by Harlem Children's Zone, William Julius Wilkinson Institute, and the Harvard Redesign Ed group that put the cohort together. But I would like to be there to share ideas with superintendents in this cohort from around the nation, looking at ways to improve opportunities for students that come from areas of low socioeconomic status around the country, and all the great things that are being done around the country to support those students and ensure that we support them from the cradle to their career and provide pathways for all students to be successful. So that is on March 9th, and I would like the opportunity to attend, and if so, we'd have to move the board meeting to March 16th, or we already have one scheduled March 23rd. And so that is my request to the board.
So which date would you prefer?
I prefer March 16th,
Okay.
that very next week.
Okay, so we have a request to move our March board meeting to March 16th at 6 p.m. Are there any questions or concerns?
I make a motion, we move our regularly scheduled March meeting from March 9th to March 16th.
A second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Greer. It was motioned by Mr. Surratt, second by Mr. Greer. All those in favor? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 8, superintendent's report.
Okay, superintendent's report. The first thing in the superintendent's report is in your packet, Graduation Alliance. And the Graduation Alliance is an organization that helps locate students who have dropped out of school and are not on the graduation path, or students who are in the process of either being expelled or working with the district to see those who may need a little help to stay on the graduation path so that we don't lose them. This organization identifies those students who have dropped out from our roles of students who are no longer with us. They work with the students to get them back in school and on the roster, and provide them their education through an online format until they graduate, or once they get them back in, the preference is to get them back into school at their middle or high school. And they've had a great success rate. The great thing about the Graduation Alliance is, and Mr. Pettit and the cabinet was in the meeting at the presentation, is the cost is neutral, because those students who are recovered, once they're recovered and back in school, and once they hit the ADM for students funding from the state, then the Graduation Alliance is paid from those students who are returned at a smaller rate than we would get for a student at the ADM. And so it's cost neutral to the district, and it provides an opportunity for students to graduate from high school, those who are dropped out or those who are on the way out, and to ensure that they graduate and are successful contributing members to society after graduation. So, but that's information in your packet, and that was a 2-minute spiel on what our meeting when we met with them as far as cost, process, and procedures. So if you have any questions, I can answer those questions now.
I just want to ask, about how many children do we have that falls into that category?
I don't know, but I can definitely get you that information.
Do you know any other districts that have used Graduation Alliance?
I do know that there are some that are currently in the process of, in the superintendent group I'm in, of implementing Graduation Alliance. And so I know that Aiken County was looking at it. Know that Richland 2 looked at it or is looking at it. The former superintendent in Richland 2 is the person that made me aware of it. And so there are some, but I don't know all of the districts, and maybe Orangeburg, but those were some of the ones that in the superintendent group that I talked to on a regular basis were thinking about the Graduation Alliance also.
Now, how does this work in combination with the job that Mr. Fuller does?
These students are already gone and lost. They're no longer in the district. The students that Mr. Fuller works with the attendants and those who are truant, he tries to bring those students back into school so they're not truant and so they don't drop out.
Okay.
But these students have already dropped out and have already been dropped from the roster.
Okay.
So they're not attending school anywhere.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So if they do enter this program and they would get a Gaffney High School, Blacksburg High School, Cherokee County School District High School diploma.
Yes.
That's the ultimate goal.
They would get a diploma, and hopefully, depends on how long ago they dropped out, hopefully they're back on the graduation path to count as a graduate for the school district also in their cohort.
Is there a limit to how long they have had to be have been out of school? I mean, you got somebody that's been out of school 2 or 3 years. Are they still welcome back? And how do you get them on the path to, or you start back where they were, and how do you get them on the correct path?
Those that have been out for the longest are the candidates that were probably, Graduation Alliance will probably work with them in a virtual online scenario until they get their high school diploma. And though if they've been out for a while, they might not count as a graduate on our report card, but the important piece is they graduate and they can have a productive life.
Okay.
This would be up to age 21.
Yes, once you get over 21, then you're aged out. We're not
Adult ed.
Yeah, we're adult ed. They won't, go and get somebody that's in school with me and put them back on the roster. There's a time frame on that. Yes.
Dr. Fitzpatrick, I'm assuming there are other recovery programs out there that do this sort of thing. And it might be a question for Mr. Pettit. Is this a sole source procurement where we could just award this group the bid because it's such a niche interest, or do we need to go out for bid for this?
I'm not aware of another organization that does the exact same thing.
Okay.
But Mr. Pettit is our expert on procurement, and so if indeed we need to, then we can do that.
And I'm sure we're good on that. Just want to make sure.
We actually have an exemption for student services, which this falls under.
Terrific. Well, that works out. Thank you.
Okay, I have one more question. If they're in this program, if it's online, they would need a laptop or access to some type of technology. Does this program provide that? I skimmed it today. I didn't look at in detail, but they provide the laptop, the technology that's needed for them to be successful, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You need to take it to a motion?
No, that's information. I just want to
Okay.
give you guys that information. Next is CNI, Dr. Dukes.
Hello.
Right.
Just wanted to give you an update on middle college. We have met with students at all 3 middle schools. The application process is open. We have spoke with several parents, and so they haven't put in the mark to complete the application process. And at that time, I'll give you a firm number of how many students that have applied to the program, and from there, we'll let you know what the next steps would be. But I just wanted to give you an update of where we are in that process. Any
Thank you.
questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dukes. Next, Student Services.
A couple of things to keep you guys abreast of. Our truancy hearings that we started with truancy court last year and then really ramped up this year. In the schools that are turning in kids for truancy to go to court, we are seeing an increase in attendance in those schools of an average of 3 to 4% collectively within the school. So we're hoping that makes a significant impact. Also, we are staying abreast of the measles situation. We currently do not have any staff or students involved or affected with measles. We have posted information. We'll go on our district website tomorrow in Spanish and English for information for parents, how to access your own measles vaccinations, and all of that was sent out this past week to all of our staff within the district. And our mental health family night had to be canceled due to weather, and it's now been scheduled for March 10th at I Square from 5 to 7, and we encourage as many parents as can to sign up to attend.
Thank you, Ms. Westmoreland. Next is our finance report, HR report, excuse me. You're not finance. You can do both, Dr. Smith.
Finance is looking great. HR, Dr. Fox is actually in North Greenville now. She's collected 7 resumes and signed those up for our virtual fair, which is what I was going to talk about. I mentioned that last month, but she's excited. We're trying to get numbers in. You know, they're a little lower than last year, but I forgot Limestone, unfortunately, is no longer with us, so that's cost us that. But we're still going to have this job fair on February the 24th and the 26th. Again, the 24th will be for elementary, the 26th will be for secondary. So we're going to have a practice actually Thursday. This is all on Teams, but she's put that information out to the principals, and we'll go over all that at a principals meeting on Wednesday. It's just hiring season right now, so we're looking at getting our positions filled. We do have both principals' jobs posted right now at the high school and Luke Ball Elementary. So looking forward to getting that done early, and hopefully we can bring an aim in March is what Dr. Fitzpatrick's goal is. And now that it's March 16th, I think we can do it. So that'd be great. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Next, we have our finance report. Ms. Pettit.
Good evening. The finance report that was submitted last week was actually prior to receiving our January tax collection revenue from the county. So in your board packet, you actually have the most up-to-date.
In your folder.
It's in your folder?
It's in your folder.
We actually have collected $56 million from tax collections, not 38 as originally on the report that was submitted last week. So 56 total $1 million in revenue collections. There was $17 million in January collected from tax collections and distributed from the county. I also, a correction on your financial report. The original submitted last week had encumbrances and expenses. I took out encumbrances because those are not actual expenses until the item of service is rendered. So we actually had $8.78 million in operating expenses in up to January 31st. That brings our net change in fund balance to negative $3.7 million. It's actually down from last month. And the $8 million transfer to other funds, which was transfer to capital for the ball field, really makes up that deficit. If we took that out, we'd be in the positive almost $5 million. If the board would like for me to break out expenses into the service category, supply category, or other expenses, I can do that for you. I can present that to you. If anybody would be willing to hear those numbers here today.
We love numbers. Go right ahead.
So for services for the year, we actually expensed $7.1 million in services, contract services. For supplies, we have expended $1.48 million on supplies up to January 31st. And then any other expenses outside of salary, supplies, and services, we've spent about $217,000. And that includes like fees to government entities and things like that. So that makes up the entire operating expense category. So if there's any questions on that, I can try to dig further if you'd like me to. I also want to provide one update on the finalization of our construction project for ball fields. The final numbers came in at $10.25 million for the total project. That is $4.1 million at Gaffney High School location, $6.1 million at the Blacksburg High School location. Total architect design and design services, we had $948,000 spent on architects and $49,000 spent on engineering. The total project cost came in at $11.25 million. The difference on the construction side was a $520,000 total change order approval prior to myself and Dr. Fitzpatrick arrival. There was approvals of change orders to the original GMP of that project.
For the amount of what now?
$520,000 in change orders.
And what did we budget for that again, Mr. Pettit?
The original budget, I believe, was $10.7 million for total to include architects, and right now we're at 11.2. So we're pretty much exactly that change order deficit over the original GMP.
And I'm just curious, if we approved a GMP, which, you know, that's, from my understanding, that was the max price that we were supposed to pay, like, how could we go over?
So there's several ways you can go over budget with a construction manager. One is architect omissions, so the architect omitted design drawings that they should have included, and the owner caught it, or the construction manager caught it. The other way is owner contingency. You basically went over on your contingency amount with things you wanted to add on to the project that were not in the original scope. Those are the two main ways that you could approve change orders. Now, I'm not sure what the justification was on that. It was before I got here. I do have the contingency log for all those that I can send to the board members if you would like a copy for both the Gaffney and the Blacksburg contingency and change orders. So I'm willing to provide that as requested.
And will that have whoever approved it on there?
I don't know if it'll have there. So there wasn't an official approval of the change order until I arrived. They were more informal, but the work had already been done, so the change order had to be executed in mid-January. So email approval sometimes works for the construction managers. They get the go-ahead via email. Yes, add on this. This was an omission by the architect. We're good with that. And then the paperwork sometimes catches up with that several months later. So I'm really not sure when the approval took place, but the official change order was approved in January.
Please send that, because I'm trying to figure out I don't remember us changing that.
Yeah, because that was sort of the whole deal why we agreed to do a GMP because of the band room. Originally it started 1 million or 1.2, then it was 2 something, then it ended up 4 million. We were like, we're not going to do that with this project, and then all of a sudden, bam! I read it in the newspaper before we even get told. So, yes.
I got you. I understand completely.
And Mr. Wilkins, Mr. Pettit and I.
Yeah, I agree.
We were under
before,
the
yeah.
and it was miscommunication, not communicated or not asked, but we thought that you guys were aware. And what the work that was done, laser grading on the fields, outfield sprinkler systems were updated, and some other minor changes, bullpens that were requested by the coaches were those change orders. And again, we thought you were aware. Moving forward, you always will be. And I know Dr. White did a great job with all projects, and so I didn't ask. So that's what if we want to say why you didn't, I'll take it and say I didn't ask, because I wouldn't want to say. I wouldn't want to put that on him, because I know he has done a great job, and he wanted to see these projects finished. And so Mr. Pettit and I thought you were aware, but maybe I should have asked that question.
Does that include the 4 updated scoreboards as well, though, Dr. Fitzpatrick? I think that includes updated ones. I don't know if they're brand new out there.
I believe it does. I think
It does.
Okay.
And I believe the scoreboards were actually an architect omission that were really necessarily needing to be added on. That was a big chunk of it, but I'll send out that contingency log. You'll have all those numbers.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
When you send it, can you break it down into the 2 categories that you mentioned, whether it was an architectural omission or whether it was something that we added?
I'll have to look at the contingency log, but I wouldn't have that information.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. They didn't note in the log what it was, the contingency, architect omission or owner occupancy request. So I can ask Thompson Turner.
Okay.
I can send you the original contingency log, and then I can reach out to Thompson Turner and say, hey, each of these lines that were approved, can you let us know if this was an owner request or an architect omission?
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Did you say a coach made a change?
No, the input they got input from coaches. No, the coaches didn't make a change. Coaches can't make a change. No, sir. Input and request. They definitely had input.
And I think the concern of the board was that it was told to everyone before it was told to us. It was made public in the paper today, and then all of a sudden we were reading it and getting questions and we had no answers. So that's the concern of the board, and Dr. Fitzpatrick has addressed that will not be a problem going forward. So I think that we want to just always make sure we're as transparent as we possibly can be as well.
For sure. I think that's a lesson learned on the change order flow through process. Who's the authorized signatory for the district who can approve it.
Right.
Definitely a lesson learned, and we'll make sure we have procedures in place.
Thank you so much.
So, that's all I had for the finance report, unless there's any questions.
Thank you for going over that, Mr. Pettit. It's very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pettit. And this point, operations.
Don't get Eric confused.
Throw you under too.
The weatherman.
So speaking of baseball and softball, we have got our certificate of occupancy for all 4 fields now. Also in the paper today, Scott had that there are ribbon cutting ceremonies, and those are going to take place at Blacksburg High School at the baseball field on February the 20th and softball field on the 26th. And then in Gaffney, the softball field on the 27th and baseball on March the 5th. And all those events start at 6 o'clock. Okay. Speaking of weather also, some things coming new into a seat, you learn a few things along the way. And one of the things that we did notice was how we address icy roads in our district. One thing that we did is we created a log of those roads that do not receive a lot of sunlight, therefore stay icy longer than others. So rather than having to trek an entire bus route system, we're able to now identify those roads so that we can expedite the process of that and make that a little bit more quicker, which also helps us make more timely decisions for that. And it also cuts down on manpower usage as well. Notifications, obviously whenever we had closed school and had e-learning days, we used a program called Real Share to notify people of that. So when I send those calls out, each call goes out to all staff members, and there's also a call that goes out to all parents. One thing within that we noticed is that some of our staff members were not necessarily getting those calls. Now that typically is done via changing up a phone number or something like that, but we sent out through our power school clerks to get those things rectified, and hopefully all that will be taken care of in the future. Hopefully no more snow this year. But thank you very much.
Well, I just want to commend you. I was in the Meals on Wheels board meeting today, and they said that list that you emailed out with the icy roads on it was very beneficial to them and their drivers who go out and deliver meals, and they was like, that was a great initiative. They hope to see that continue year after year because it was very helpful to them. And I'm sure if it was helpful to them, it was helpful to others as well. So thank you so very much for thinking of that.
You know, as much information as you can get out to the community also, although sometimes there's a little bit of backlash with that, the more information they have, the better served.
Well, they were appreciative of it. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
No more water leaks.
Right, right. Don't order any more though.
Thank you, Dr. Blanton. Next, makeup days. Of course, we were out for the weather, and makeup day is going to be February 16th. It was a work day, students and closure day, but that is February 16th. We'll be in school, students and teachers, to make up a day from the weather.
Dr. Fitzpatrick, can you just explain, because why the one day, the e-learning day? Because we still have one e-learning day, is that right? Could you explain that process? So
Sure.
It's on the same page.
All right. And so with e-learning, of course, we use the e-learning day at for the Blacksburg schools when we didn't have any water. Mm-hmm. We use the day at Gaffney Middle. when they didn't have any water. And so district-wide, we don't have one more. District-wide, we're out. Well, in those two areas, we're out. And so a decision was made not to be different with that e-learning that was left in some schools and not in others, because kind of like a contingency. It may be emergency somewhere else, and we may use that as an e-learning. But, and I'm gonna get on, not my soapbox, but my philosophy for a second here. E-learning, of course, is not optimal for student, learning and student success. Optimal is to be in school with a teacher. We know that's best, and if indeed we can have a make-up day where the students and the teachers are there together, prime instructional time, that's going to do more for student achievement than e-learning. As a matter of fact, I would like to, in the future, use our make-up days first. And then students, if we don't have more than 3, those students are learning face-to-face the best way to learn all 3 days. And have e-learning as the backup once those are exhausted. Because we know what's better for kids is to be face-to-face. But that was the reason behind it, is because, it's better for kids to be in school face-to-face, prime instructional time. And also, if we have some that were on e-learning the last day and not others, if you have a kid at one of the elementary schools and a high school and a middle school, well, you got one that's out of school and 2 in school. And so we just talked about all those things and made a decision that other e-learning day for the schools that weren't in Blacksburg or Gaffney Middle could have that in case an emergency happened at those schools.
I did receive some calls about that, because they felt like, and I agree with you, students need to be in school. And I know personally, I helped my grandchildren with e-learning, and it was not good. It was just busy work. But I did have some questions about, they were concerned about making up a day when they were in school and other schools were not. But I agree with you, Dr. Fitzpatrick. I think everybody needs to be in school. And I like the make-up days first before the e-learning days.
Exactly. I agree with you 100% on that, Dr. Fitzpatrick. And what I don't like about e-learning days, the people that we are paying are sending out assignments and sitting on the couch. And the people that we are servicing is sitting at their computer working for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I said that in the back before, and I'm saying it now publicly. I ain't crazy about e-learning days because the kids doing more work than the teachers, and we paying the teachers. That's a problem. I've asked, and Dr. Fall had something in place a little more structured, but I said before, like, first period, they should be available for 30 minutes, 8 to 8:30, and then second period, 8:30 to 9 o'clock, and then third, and so on, just to make them at least sit there and be accountable for 2.5, 3 hours. How can we expect that out of the kids and not the teachers?
I didn't mean to cut you off, but the teachers do have office hours during that time where.
Well, they're supposed to be available.
Yes, when they're available.
Some of them not doing it.
Yeah.
They sending out assignments, and I call it busy work.
I was saying a lot of people think it's busy work.
Now, if it's something productive, I get it. But busy work, just no.
A lot of children said that's what it is.
Like, I ain't gonna call the teacher's name.
Please
don't. I ain't gonna do that. I know, I've been here long enough to know what you can and can't do. But I know a teacher that sent out, write a paragraph about your experience with the snow. And this is the high school kids, man. This ain't the elementary. I mean, write 2 paragraphs about, I'm like, but go ahead, man. Let me get off my soapbox.
But the teachers do have office hours. They do, and where they're available. Don't need learning days. That answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I had a lot of questions too, and as long as everyone hears from the same person, there's not different people saying different things, I think that clears things up, so
Right.
I appreciate it.
Right. And, if anyone asks, I drive the light silver truck out there, not the dark one, so.
I drive the black GMC.
Next,
Well, I got one more question, I guess, operations wise. The days we on delays, the icy roads, the buses can't run on, what was the students that lived on those roads? What's their deal? If the buses can't run on icy road, whatever road they live on, what about a student that lives on that road? What do they do that day?
So they're dependent on their parent or guardian's transportation.
If they ride the bus, they don't have that.
Right, I understand that.
So I don't understand that, because those kids have no access to school, they falling behind. Our bus riders are the one that's already struggling to start with, or they wouldn't be riding the bus. So I don't agree with, if buses can't run, get some kids to school, ain't no point, and if I can drive my daughter, that's good. But a kid that can't get to school anyway is just falling further behind. I don't like the fact that those kids have no, and you asking a parent that already don't have a good ride to come out on icy roads, try to get their kid to school. I didn't agree with that, but that's just me. I don't understand the process.
that is a great point and something for us to consider. Our goal was to get schools open and kids in school, but that's a great point. That is a great point.
I had several parents that rely on the bus that they can't drive anyway, and if they're gonna try to drive, it's just gonna be dangerous. I just didn't understand that thought process, but just me.
Yes, sir.
I would like to think that the thought process would be to where you're covering the most kids that you possibly can. You're not gonna be able to cover everybody. There's always gonna be a scenario, you know, for each person. So I just look at it as being the overall objective is to be able to get as many kids as possible and some. But I do understand yours as well, DJ, with that. But I would like to think the people that make those decisions take all that in consideration when making those decisions.
Are the children asked to maybe walk to the main road where they are able to get on a bus, or, I mean, do you reach out to parents that way and at least, try to make that provision, or they just not able to come if their parent are not able to bring them?
Given the weather event that we had, I think it was probably pretty hard for some of those kids to get to a spot. I mean, some of those roads are covered for quite a distance.
Okay. All right.
So
And we did have that discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are those students counted absent, or is there a fine line, I guess you could say, of, I mean,
If the students couldn't come to school because of the ice on the road and the buses, those are excused, so they're not counted against them.
Okay.
But when you, and that may be one, I don't know, but if you're gonna do a weather, like buses are not running on icy roads, when you make this announcement on Facebook, somebody needs to be answering the telephone. Cause the people calling me at 5 and 6 o'clock, well, what about this road? Well, I'm down here and this road's cleared halfway down. I can't answer that. If it's a quarter mile, well, half a mile long and a quarter of it's good and a quarter of it ain't, and the bus can get down there and get turned around, they live, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when the school's done closed and everybody's off, well, people don't get off at 5 o'clock and get home and look at Facebook. I mean, some people don't look at a phone all day long. But then when who were they supposed to call to find, try to get answers and explain this and that? I can't answer it.
Right.
They got to be an after hours number that somebody can call, and somebody's got to be able to answer a phone.
That's something that we can look into. Like Mr. Greer, we try to put it out as much as possible via social media and putting it on our website, all those listings. And when I made those calls out, it told them exactly where they could find that information.
Well,
but I understand your point about the fact that if you don't have social media, you may not know the answer.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but if somebody works, say Betty Lou or whoever works at Food Line, she gets off at 5 o'clock. Well, she's not sitting on her phone all day at work. By the time she gets home, it's 5:30 or 6, and she opens up a computer or laptop and she looks, all right, well, we're on a 2-hour delay, or whatever's even going on. Well, how's she supposed to contact somebody to find out what's going on when everybody up here's done gone? Here, the bus shop, I mean.
I think you raise a good point because, we have the capability to call forwarding. So, whether that be forwarding from transportation office to Mr. Brazenton's number or his staff's numbers to be able to answer those questions.
Or maybe like an emergency live chat chat box or something, that may be helpful, somebody can kind of man that, that could be an option maybe. Just for emergencies.
I definitely think there are some lessons learned here.
Oh, yeah.
And some things that, and you guys are making some great points. And we met as a cabinet team to look at some of those processes and procedures, and are in the process of looking at what we can do to improve. Again, I think when we look at continuous improvement as our goal, you know, we want it to get better every time. And so definitely, you know, this past weather event, hopefully we don't have any more this year, but there are some things that, you know, we probably could have done a little differently, but we tried to make the best decisions, you know, for the greatest number of students, and that, you know, when we had icy roads, if we had 2 or 3 roads in the county, we didn't want to shut school down because of that. So definitely, there are some things that we can improve, and we're taking notes, and we will definitely improve in those areas. And as we move forward, we want to make sure, again, that the goal is to have kids in school face to face, if that's possible. And when it's not, then we'll look at everything we learned from this incident, particular weather event, and, you know, improve at the next one. Hopefully, that's not this year.
I think he may have contacted Jody, because I gave him his email. I think one road was Holly something, and you had it listed as Holly, but it was Holly the other road. It was like there's 2 different roads, and one road, I think it got put down wrong or something. You know, it's like this road was cleared, and all of a sudden it ain't cleared, and it was the other road, it was whatever. And I think he emailed him, and I think Jody actually answered. But, you know, it'd been easier if there was a number he could have called and talked to somebody. Because, you know, he could have been eating, showering, you know, I don't know. He done worked and he done went home, but, you know, somebody needs to be able to answer a phone somewhere after hours. Just like an on-call person.
But to Dr. Fitzpatrick's point, and I don't want to belabor this truthfully, because it's weather and we've talked about it, but your team took a lot of hits, and I heard some grumbling about the 3-hour delay, and I know Greenville had made the same call. Our neighbors over in Spartanburg did not. When hindsight, when we look back on that, it was the right call. In these circumstances, there's no perfect answer. We're not going to get it 100% right every time, because it's not a perfect scenario. We can train, we can try, we can take notes. You guys did the best you could do for the majority of the students and the staff that you serve. And I commend you and your team for doing that, truthfully. I mean, it's hard every year we go through this, and we can get better at it, continuous improvement, yes. I get it. But you made the best call, and looking back, you saved us a day. And we got kids in the school that probably needed a meal and needed to be looked after. So I just want to say that on the record.
And the last thing I'll say is safety was at the forefront the entire time, because, you know, we have to make sure that we make decisions that are based on what's best for kids and that keep them safe. And that's why we did 3 hours, is because the temperature was above freezing at that 3rd hour. And so it's very detailed and very thorough. And so we'll continue to try to make best decisions.
I have one final question. So we have 5 e-learning days, and we have 3 makeup days built into the calendar. 1 the first semester, 2 in the second semester. Is there a max of makeup days you can put in your school calendar?
Just 3.
3 is the max that you can have in your school calendar. Okay. That's my only question.
All right. Thank you. Next day, curricular and extracurricular dual participation. I was asked to take a look at that. And so what I gave you guys in your folder is just kind of a draft of a procedure for curricular and extracurricular dual participation. Back when I was here before as principal at Gaffney High, we had a practice where students weren't penalized if they had 2 events, whether it be 2 curricular events or a curricular and an extracurricular event. They could participate in both without being penalized. And so what you have in front of you is a draft of dual participation expectations. And basically with the expectations, students should be able to participate in curricular or extracurricular activities even if they conflict periodically with time. And so if a student, let's say, is in band and volleyball, then the coach and the band director should work it out where the student can be participating both and not penalized, or in AVID and in band or dual credits. And so whatever it is, curricular or extracurricular, then students should be able to participate in both without being penalized, and have the teachers and or directors or coaches work to ensure that the student can participate in both, not be penalized, and look at calendars to see where potential conflicts are, and work that process out, with the assistance of the principal in those situations. And so this is draft, and the next thing I am going to do is get this draft to our principals so they can give us input. And once I get input from the principals, then we'll take it to the policy committee to look at and develop policy based on dual participation.
So this would replace the one that we currently have? Dr. Fitzpatrick?
The one that
It looks like 2018 maybe. Dual sports. Or maybe this is something different altogether.
and that is interscholastic athletics and academics, and so this particular policy includes more.
Okay.
So
More inclusive.
Yes, it's more inclusive, and that's why the policy committee would look at it to make adjustments on there. It is more inclusive and spelled out. And I was asked to take a look into it, and so that's what we did.
Any questions about any part of the superintendent's report from any of the departments? If not, we'll move on to item number 9, executive session. I ask for a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters regarding the employment, discipline, or release of an employee or employees of the district, property matters, student discipline, and legal advice.
I make a motion that we go to the executive session for the aforementioned matters.
Thank you, Mr. Surratt.
Second.
Second, Mr. Greer. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Motion to return to open session.
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Shackelford.
Second.
Second, Ms. Gallman. Everyone in favor? That is unanimous. There is no action item is needed for executive session, so we go down to item number 11. Ask for a motion to accept the personnel recommendations on behalf of Dr. Fitzpatrick and Dr. Smith.
I make a motion to accept superintendent's personnel recommendation.
Motion, Mr. Surratt.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wilkins. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Any announcements? And I would like to hear from our school board trustees briefly and tell us what schools you visited during school board trustee month. Starting with Mr. Cash.
I went to Blacksburg Primary a couple weeks ago. I had two young ladies tour me around. I actually got to read to the class. So I was a kindergarten teacher a long time ago, and it was a kindergarten class I got to read to. So that was pretty cool too. I think I did pretty well. I asked some good questions like I used to as a teacher. So it felt good. It felt really cool to be back. But they were very sweet and very thoughtful, and they're doing some really cool things over there.
Great. Thank you so very much for sharing. Mr. Greer.
I have not been yet, due to the cold weather, snow, ice, and the water leaks at work. But I am going this Friday, hopefully the one. If not, I'm going to Grassy Pond for sure next Friday. So it'll be planned this month.
We'll look forward to hearing from you then. Mr. Matt B.
I actually was privileged enough to get to go to Ola Copeland today, and I squared. And with both places, Ola Copeland is doing life-changing stuff. That really close to my heart. Man, they're a wonderful staff, good people. Loved it. Just was blessed thoroughly touring that place. And I squared also. I was a bow kid. That's what I called it. I squared like the bow on steroids. It's awesome over there.
It's
not
your
granddaddy's bow. No, it is awesome, man. The stuff they're doing at those two places, we keep pouring into that. That was awesome. I was privileged enough, and they give me gifts. I got this cool jacket, but I told them, I said, I should have brought you gifts. Y'all the ones doing the work. I just get blessed enough to come and see what you're doing. Both places were phenomenal, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so very much. Ms. Shackelford.
So my visit was postponed as well due to the weather.
Oh, okay.
But I am slated to go out to Blacksburg Middle School on Friday morning.
Okay.
So I look forward to reporting back.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. Mr. Wilkins.
Let's see. I went to Northwest, and also I'm like Cody. I actually took my own book to read to some. I think there was 4K maybe. And very great school. Miss Roberts, she is doing a wonderful job up there, being the I guess the first time principal there. And Miss Gall, everybody was welcoming. And then I go to Gaffney High in the morning. So looking forward to that.
Okay, ready for you.
Yeah, that's right.
That's wonderful.
And then also, I'm going to give a big to tell everybody Wednesday night. It's going to be at the Blacksburg High Gym. The Blacksburg Middle School basketball team is playing for the championship.
Wow.
And the boys team, I mean, nothing to take away from the girls, but the boys team, I mean, it's like old school back in the day, high school. I mean, loud as can be. Everybody's, I mean, it's something to see. So put that on your calendar for this Wednesday.
Wednesday night. At what time?
I think it is 5 is girls, 6:15 boys.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Ms. Shippey.
So I had the opportunity to visit Blacksburg Elementary School and Ewing Middle School. Both visits were a breath of fresh air, especially Ewing, my old stomping grounds, where it was east at the time. But I will say Dr. Roop has done a phenomenal job just doing some of the things himself there. Physically, you know, the changes, beautifying the facilities, both outside and inside. The kids were really engaging with him. He knew all the kids by name. They're coming by giving him high fives, so it was good to see that the principal actually engaging with the students was really, really good. So,
wonderful. Thank you so much. Mr. Surratt?
Unfortunately, the weather got both of my visits, but I'm going to Gaffney Middle in the morning, and I'm going to Limestone Central this Friday, and I will report next month.
Look forward to hearing from you. Ms. Gallman.
I went to Luther Vaughn Elementary School. Miss Manus and the student council officers had lunch with me, It was pizza and salad. It was delicious. They took me on a tour of the school. I got to sit in and observe a PLC, which was great. It's been a few years since I have participated in that. But it was so sweet. One of the boys asked me, did I implement the sign-out clock that the transportation's having to do now? And I said, no, I did not implement that. But they asked some really good questions for our school board members for what our responsibilities were. Also was able to go on a tour at Gaffney High School. Dr. Robertson took me on a great tour, and it was right before the bad weather was getting ready to hit, and I spoke to Dr. Blanton, and he had a crew in there in his office. But it was great at Gaffney High, seeing students in action, and I got to walk into the Scholars Academy. I love seeing the instruction that was going on there. Got to see some old friends that I taught with years ago. So it was just 2 great days of visiting, and that's one thing I miss about being an educator, is being in the school. So it was a great 2 days.
That's wonderful, wonderful. I had the opportunity to visit with Corinth Elementary School first, and I can understand why they received the rating they did as excellent, because that school is just spot on. I was telling Dr. Fitzpatrick, Miss Allison, she has this data wall in her office that has every individual student's scores or whatnot on, and how to help, see how they move and move up, and how the students come in and they see their initials or whatnot, and they want to move up the board, and it makes it a little bit competitive and make them want to do better. So that was just really, really wonderful. They got some great organizations down there, music, and they have a music teacher and a art teacher who has formed a club of gentlemen down there, and those are the students, the male students in that school, who just shows his exemplary character. And I was able to sit in their meeting, and they stand when a lady enters the room, and they pull out my chair, and they yes ma'am and no ma'am, and it was just absolutely wonderful. And then they have the girls with pearls, so on the other side of that, so they're just teaching the etiquette part and how to be young ladies and to grow into productive citizens in our community. But the school as a whole, they have different clubs and things that some of the other elementary schools I hope would get on board with and have, so the students are just so active in that school, and they have taken ownership of that school, and it absolutely shows. And then I had the opportunity to go over BD Lee, and unfortunately I was there on the 3-hour delay day. So I got to see how that 3-hour delay worked, and they had got those kids in there, and they had fed them breakfast and was turning around trying to give them lunch at the same time. They were just on it. They had it mechanically down and just doing what they're supposed to do. So the 3-hour delay absolutely worked. I saw it in action. But to be over there with Miss Nesbitt, the wonderful things that she's doing at her school, how they are progressing, how she has gotten the community back involved with BD Lee. The teachers are happy. You can tell that they are invested now in the education of our students over there, and they're just making a wonderful, wonderful change over there. And I also got to do Limestone Central last month. I participated in one of the educational rounds with Grassy Pond and Draytonville, and then they were all at Limestone Central. So I walked around with the principals and vice principals of the 3 schools as they went to each grade level and looked at what the teacher was doing as far as being in small groups, instructional time, this, that, and the other, comparing notes and being collaborative on how to make our district stronger together. So that was very educational for me as well. So I just want to thank all 3 schools for inviting me in. Thank you for the gifts that you gave. I'm like, I think it was DJ that said, they didn't need to give me anything. I was just happy being there. I enjoyed it. I hope to make rounds to all the schools in our district before the year is over, but those were the 2 that I were assigned, and I was the better for it, and I thank them so very much for inviting me in. So at this time, Dr. Fitzpatrick, do you have anything you want to wrap up?
No, I just encourage all of you to do what Ms. Dawkins did with those instructional walk, instructional rounds. That's a great opportunity for you to see in action the great things that are going on in the schools academically.
Right. With that being said, at this time we will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion, Ms. Gallman.
Second.
Second, Mr. Greer. All in favor? Okay, we stand adjourned.